one of my biggest fears is my husband and I are eventually going to have to either choose my health or house payment or two.
Brooke Haynes of Mount Pleasant was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was just a baby. She and her husband both work full-time, but the newlyweds still have trouble making ends meet.
I didn't choose to be born a diabetic. Believe me, if I had it my way, I would not be a diabetic. I would wish this on nobody.
Haynes, who's 24, takes insulin to keep her blood sugar under control. She says every month she spends over $350 for the medication, and that's not all.
I just ordered my actual insulin pump supplies, and because my deductible was not met, I just had to pay like $460 some for insulin pump supplies themselves.
It's just one of the painful realities diabetics like Haynes face every day.
I would be sick, my body would almost shut down.
Meet Zane Parman. He's a 17-year-old Reese High School senior who also suffers from type 1 diabetes. Zane and his mother, Kathy Hoekstra, worry about what will happen to him when he's no longer covered by his parents' insurance. Hoekstra says right now they can manage, but what's next?
It's infuriating, and it's sad, and it's frightening.
What scares her is the staggering cost of insulin. The American Diabetes Association estimates that the cost of insulin nearly tripled from 2002 to 2013. And consider this, the association says in much of Europe, insulin costs about a sixth of what it does here in the U.S.
Cost of the drugs is immense.
Endocrinologist Hemant Thawani with Hurley Medical Center in Flint says many of his patients cannot afford the medicine he prescribes. He attributes the higher cost to a broken healthcare system.
I think the drug companies try to get as much of their costs or profits from the U.S. population.
So how does insulin get a price tag? Turns out it's pretty complicated. This is how the American Diabetes Association tries to explain the supply chain of insulin. But they tell us even if you break down how insulin reaches the consumer, there's no transparency between where it changes hands. Some of the insulin makers are trying to make steps to help those who can't afford their medication. Novo Nordisk says it offers copay cards for those with private insurance, a patient assistance program for the uninsured, and they are now working with CVS, Express Scripts, and Walmart to offer insulin for about $25 a vial. Sanofi says starting next month, they will have a savings program for all uninsured patients, regardless of their income, to pay $99 for their insulin. They also tell us all commercially insured patients can take part in their copay programs and that they provide medications at no charge for qualified low-income uninsured patients.
I hope that they can figure out a way for insulin to become more accessible.
Parman and Haynes are saying enough is enough. Something still needs to change.
We can't afford to keep working to live. We can't afford to keep letting these pharmaceutical companies dictate our lives.
TV5 also reached out to drug maker Eli Lilly, but we have not heard back from them. The ADA tells us it is working with Congress, who recently launched investigations into the higher drug prices. I'm Rachel McCrary with WNEM TV5.
Rachel, thank you. If you have any concerns or questions about the cost of insulin, the ADA has a number that you can call, as well as a new online website, patient assistance resource page as well.
You'll find that information on our hot links page. Plus, we have the drug makers' complete statements on our website, WNEM.com.